Hey guys, TommyBryson here and welcome back to the channel. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how much money I spend while living in the Dominican Republic, but now I'm actually married. Now, there was like a lot of fuss about how much money I spend here in Dominican Republic because everyone says the same thing. Tommy, you're not married, you don't have any kids, so that's the reason why you can live for less than $1,000 while you live in the Dominican Republic. Now, by the way, I do have to add something, okay? The way I live, where I live, what I spend my money on is a choice. I choose to actually live this way consciously and actively. So whenever anyone tells me, Tommy, I live in New York, I tell them, hey, I also lived in New York. And they tell me, I spend $3,000 a month on rent. Hey, there are other cheaper places in New York, and you always have the option of actually moving. No one is actually forcing you to actually live there. So it's very important to know that, okay? Where you live is not where you have to keep living. If you do see some benefit to moving, it makes sense. You might want to move. And by the way, everyone always says the same thing. Don't get married, it's so expensive. Don't have kids, they're so expensive. Wait until you have kids, wait until you get married. And the truth is, for the most part, it's all nonsense. You know, I'm not a cheap person. I realize that these days. I thought I was cheap. What I really am is frugal. I'm someone, I like to buy what I like to buy. I like to get the maximum amount of use out of it, and I don't like wasting money on garbage. So for example, I don't have 30 pairs of sneakers anymore because I don't need 30 pairs of sneakers. I don't need to eat out every single night, and I don't need to travel every single day, okay? Those things are choices, they're options. So you gotta make them. So in this video, I'll tell you exactly how much we're spending as a married couple here in the Dominican Republic. Do me a favor and smash the like button. Now, the very first thing, guys, is this. I am going to sound very precise and mechanical because I want you guys to actually understand what my true costs actually are. I live in the Dominican Republic. I live in the middle of nowhere because my family is here and because I love it here, okay? You can choose to do this also if you want to. Now, on shelter, I spent, before I got married, about $152 if I'm not mistaken, okay? So it's not a lot of money. Now, what exactly was I renting? Was it a shed? No, it was a 2-bedroom apartment with a kitchen, with a living room. I have 2 ACs in my house. I have a fan. I have like a stove. I have gas. I have running water. I don't ever not have water. I always have light because I also have a generator here. But the point is, I live a pretty good life here. I have all the comforts that I basically need for $152. Now, why did I get something with 2 bedrooms? Because I work and this is my studio. So this is one of the bedrooms that I'm actually using to make videos, okay? Now, how much money do you think I spend now that I'm married? The answer is, well, I'm sharing now a house with my wife, okay? That's the big difference. But we sleep now in the same bedroom, all right? We sleep in the same bedroom. There isn't any extra cost. I still spend the same $152. You know what the problem is? People get married and they turn stupid. Honestly, okay? They get married and automatically they want to go ahead and buy a house and they want to spend $3,000 on a mortgage. They go from spending like $1,000, $2,000 on rent. Now they want to spend $3,000 on a mortgage and sign up for that for the next 30 years because, hey, we're married. We need a house, okay? The answer is you can get married today, buy a house tomorrow if the math is right, if it makes sense, and you know that's where you actually want to live. But it's not a mandatory step. Same thing with people when they have kids. They've been married for a while. They've been renting for a while, saving up money. Now there's a baby. What a blessing. But now guess what? We're gonna have a baby. We need to move to the best school section or whatever. Now they're gonna spend an extra $100,000 or $200,000 to have this house in this section, in this zip code, to have a better education for my kid. The answer is no. The truth is, okay, when you delegate the education of your kids to the state and you're trying to basically fix it so you have the best education possible and you're spending an extra $200,000 in a house or an extra $100,000 in a house, you have to consider things, okay? Would it be better for you to homeschool? Or would it be better, for example, to you to basically move like not in the best area and give them like an average education? That's also fine, okay? I learned something. You know, you walk out of school knowing just about nothing. You just get qualified to go to a college to then finally learn about a skill, okay? But kids don't graduate learning about cooking, about being a man, about being a woman, about learning how to balance a checkbook, about learning how to invest, how to actually make a living. None of these skills. You learn about earth science, learn about some science, learn about math. You learn about a whole bunch of things that nobody cares about, and honestly, you're going to forget in about T minus 10 seconds, okay? Once you graduate. It's the truth, okay? That's the honest truth. So if you're asking me, would I rather live in this nice school section or homeschool my kids? For me personally, homeschool my kids, save all that money, and invest into some extra property, okay? That's the idea. Or would I rather live, for example, in a normal area and save another 100 or 200K and possibly not work for like 10 years on a mortgage? I mean, that is awesome, and be with my kids more, okay? Very important. Those are optional problems that people get themselves into, and they talk about it like it's mandatory. It is not mandatory. It is a choice. Now, my utilities, okay? For example, like light, water, gas, all that good stuff on my internet, on my phone bill. The answer is nothing has actually changed. Pretty much, I still don't pay a light bill because there's none here. I have electricity, obviously, but we just don't get charged for light. We're trying to fix that, so we actually get charged by the state. But there's another issue for another day. Water, I don't spend any money on water because we have like a well and a pump, so I have like running and plumbing. So don't think I don't have that. But yeah, on my phone bill and her phone bill, we pay them together. We pay about $40, and we do spend some money on some subscriptions here and there. But for the most part, we spend about $60 when it comes to our internet bill, and about $60 extra when it comes to other subscriptions that we actually have. But you can tell, right? One utility that actually went up a lot was gas. I would be able to buy gas. They sell like these little tanks, and you can basically refill them with gas. I would spend like about no joke, like maybe like $20 for like 6 months, or like a year almost, because I didn't cook. Okay, but now with my wife here, she does like a lot of cooking, makes a lot of stuff, cooks great. Honestly, I love her cooking. But yeah, like we're spending a lot more money, like about $5 or $6 per month. We're actually spending when it comes to gas for the most part, okay? But we're not really spending that much money at all when it comes to utilities. By the way, you really want to marry someone that is on the same page with you financially. If I would have married a princess, which by the way, my wife is a princess to me in a way, but I mean a princess in the negative term. A woman that is only interested in buying luxury things and luxury items and looking a certain way and doing this and this vacation and doing that thing, that type of person, you would be in trouble, okay? You want to be very careful who you marry. You want to be marrying to someone who's on the same page with you financially, and it's not trying to, when you're going to buy something together, you guys ask each other, do we need this, okay? It's not like you're being the person that never wants to buy something. You don't want to be that, because you're going to be with a child, and that's not what you want. Now, third, all right? And by the way, the problem is here, people consciously spend a bunch of money on utilities. They got the fastest internet when all they do is browse the web. They got the unlimited plus premium magnema, a whole bunch of stupid names they give to phone bills now, plan, and they spend a bunch of money on that, okay? Subscriptions are optional, and you should be subscribed to only the things you actually need, and you don't need to spend the most money possible on these things, okay? Now, food. Everyone told me my food bill was going to go rampant. The truth is, surprisingly, in some way, I actually spend less money on food now because we do a lot of cooking at home. My wife does a lot of the cooking at home. So that means the money I would spend on taking her on dates and like buying things outside because I wasn't really cooking at home, or spending money to have somebody cook for me here and whatever, that's money I'm not really spending anymore. Now, do we go out to eat every now and then? The answer is of course we do. But I would say the most expensive part once you get married is the first grocery bill, because it's for the first time you guys are going to live together, and it's the first time you guys are actually going to go shopping for groceries, and there's a lot of things you don't have. So there's a lot of initial investments, like as far as like for those expenses when it comes to like your grocery bill. A bunch of things you don't have, you're going to have to buy for the first time, but they don't really run out. Like buying butter and mayonnaise and this sauce and this condiment and this seasoning, all those things are expensive when you add them all up. But then they last you for a long, long time, So it's like the initial one. So on the initial one, we spent about $300. And now I'm seeing like my average, our average like monthly bill is gonna be sitting at around $250 to $300 or so, as far as like like eating food and stuff like that. You don't spend that much money. The problem is people say, well, I want to eat organic. The truth is, organic is not the expensive thing. It's what you buy when you go to an organic farm or whatever you're actually doing, okay? You can buy literally like about like 200 chickens with $1,000, right? So if you're spending $1,000 in groceries and you're basically like eating a bunch of like dumb stuff, the answer is that's why you spend so much money on groceries. But if you're buying rice, you're buying beans, you're buying chicken, you're buying like different types of meats here and there, you're not going to be spending that much money. But when you're trying to buy this popcorn and this snack and this ice cream and this thing and then this, that, and then your whole idea is, well, I want to eat what I want to eat, and I'm not going to not eat what I want to eat. My answer to you is you do what you want to do. And if you want to spend all your money on food, great. But I'm not going to do that, because at the end of the day, we want to enjoy what we eat. That is true. But at the end of the day, food is for energy. And food is not something that you should be a slave of, okay? I don't get why you're spending $1,000. And the whole idea that once you get a baby, you're gonna spend so much more money. Maybe in the initial part, right? But not really, because the mom gives the baby milk. Like there's diapers, there's certain things you have to buy, and there's gonna be a cost to that. And then when the baby's able to eat solid food, they're eating the food that you're eating, right? So the whole idea and the whole concept that a wife and kids are just so expensive, it's not true. It's the choices these people choose to make, okay? Having the kid in a whole bunch of different formulas, having all the crazy baby clothes, all the crazy like this and that they're gonna basically grow out of in like about 2 seconds, and then like buying them a whole bunch of different sauces and this and that and this and that. You don't need to do all those things, okay? So you have to understand that you're making conscious choices to spend money. And if you're suffering from those things, then you have a conscious choice to make to stop spending that money, because no one is forcing you. They might be influencing you and trying to manipulate you to spend your money on those things, but you don't have to do those things. You're free to say no, by the way. You have my permission to say no to those things, because sometimes it feels like people think that if they don't buy their baby all the things, they're basically being bad parents. That's not true. It's not true at all. Now, number 4 here is transportation. As far as a car, we don't spend any money on finances because we own a car. We have a Toyota Corolla 2017. We bought it used. So that's important, and we bought it used like last year. So that car basically has about 3 plus 3 is about like what, 6 years. So we bought like a 6-year-old car. Between insurance and gas and like the standard maintenance, we spend about $100. But sometimes we do go further out. Like we might go to the capital, we might go somewhere else, and that's a lot further, more gas. So we might be looking at around like 150 to $200. So that's why I'm including that like that here in this part of the budget. But we don't really spend that much money on that. The problem is people get married, and now, for example, it's 2 of you guys, and now guess what you need? 2 vehicles. Why? But you choose to have 2 vehicles, and not just 2 vehicles, you gotta have fancy vehicles. So now you're spending $500, and your husband's spending like $1,000 on a fancy truck. You're spending like $1,000 or like $1,500 on things that tomorrow are going to be worth less. All right, so you gotta understand that what I'm trying to say here, guys, and I really mean this, as someone who does the finance thing and makes these videos and tries to educate people on money and all this stuff, there's like this whole conversation that being alone is better because you save more money. And what are you gonna do with your money? Are you gonna fondle it? Are you gonna kiss it at night? Are you gonna tell it stories? Those things don't really matter as much. And when you marry someone, marrying someone is not a liability. You're not gonna get someone that's a liability unless you choose that, okay? But if you marry right and you try to, and you do your research and you try to make the best choice possible, you're marrying an asset. You're marrying someone that's going to be there to assist you, to help you, to be with you, and you vice versa, okay? That's the whole objective, and things are going to be a lot better. And usually, cost is going to be a lot less, because you guys are going to be helping each other. But when you're trying to do things and just do all these marketing, all this stuff is marketing in a sense, because all this spending money is not because these are your aspirations. It's because those aspirations were placed on you by marketing teams or whatever, okay? That's the whole idea. And when they try to tell you that babies are expensive, really? Are they really expensive? You got to think things through and not just listen to things and just be like, well, it's so expensive now. So in total, how much money do I actually spend now that I have a wife? I used to be able to get away was spending just about under $1,000 while living here in the Dominican Republic. And people don't forget this, okay? When I actually lived in Puerto Rico, which is a more expensive place to actually live, I also spent less than $1,000 because I made some decisions so I don't spend that much money. I bought a house and I paid off a car. So I didn't have a lot of things to pay for, meaning that's why my bills were so low, okay? These are all options. These are all choices. These are all goals to work yourself towards. So how much are we actually spending per month? The answer is our baseline, when you think about it, is about $758 to about 700, well, about $808, $818, because I don't know if I included subscriptions, because we do have like odd subscriptions here and there, but it's about like less than $900. Now, when you add everything up, we're spending about between 1278 to around 1378. Okay, so we're below 1400 and sometimes even below 1300. Now, how is that possible? When you do all the math, it doesn't add up to that. Well, the truth is there are some things I did not put in here. For example, health insurance, we're gonna have to pay that. That's about 70 bucks a month. Miscellaneous bills is about $250. And as far as fun, we spend about $200 like on like current fun, like maybe eating out, watching a movie, doing something. And we also save up money for going on a vacation. And we might save that up for between 6 months, between a year. And then at the end, we have some money to either travel out of our country or do some like internal tourist stuff, okay? You don't have to get on a plane and go to Cancun and have fun. You could do it at your state and find out some other places that you haven't visited before and try out some food you haven't tried out. There's a lot of things to do. You don't have to spend a bunch of money just to go on vacation, and there is no deprivation in those things either. So again, my goal is to keep being frugal, and frugality is not being cheap. There's a difference, but it's you trying to get the juice out of everything. I have this phone. This is by choice. This is an iPhone. By the way, that's my beautiful wife there. But this is an iPhone SE third generation. I paid about $68 for it. I fixed the screen on it, and it cost me a total of about like less than $100. It's a great phone. I use it. It works. But I don't have a $1,000 phone. That's also a choice. These are all choices we choose to make. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.